Yay, I redid that. Don't. Clouds, clouds, clouds. A majority of us love getting our hair done, but who has the time? At least I thought it was a time issue. Not to mention the money. In this video, I show you 5 things I learned from doing my own hair application at home, and the fact that my hair even remotely came out like this is no short of a miracle. I made the mistakes so you wouldn't have to. Coming right up.
I feel again, we're bringing this back to life.
Hey everyone, how's it going? And welcome back to my channel. And if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing and hit that notification bell so that you are notified of all my upcoming videos. For the most part, a lot of us, women, men like me, love getting pampered, especially at the salon. But as a busy mom with a busy schedule, who has the time, right? At least I thought it was a time issue, but I was recently laid off, so it's definitely a financial issue. I love my hairstylist, but the upkeep of this hair can get very expensive. I've done my hair at home a few times, but this was on a whole new level. By the end of this video, you'll learn from the mistakes I made, hopefully have a smoother process than I did, and totally be proud of what you achieved. Lesson number 1, do your research, but not 5 minutes before you actually do the process. When it comes to any hair look you want, you must do your research. The look I wanted, in my case, I wanted this. I'm a huge Splat fan, and only because the color lasts so long, but not a huge fan of the excessive bleeding it leads to every time I wash my hair. Not to mention, the hubs was pretty tired of walking into a blue tub every day. So as I was researching this wonderful product, my sister kept saying no, 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 and actually convinced me to go ahead and try Arctic Fox. When I went to their website, I realized that the Arctic Fox product is also vegan, cruelty-free, and a portion of their profits is donated to animal shelters. Win-win for all you animal lovers like me. And as long as the vibrancy of the color was just as good as Splat, I was willing to try. Not to mention, the reviews that I was reading about bleeding in the shower were a lot less than Splat, so that was also a bonus. I knew I wanted to bleach my entire hair to get the vibrancy I wanted out of a color and not just have highlights of the color on top of dark hair. So I had to research the process. So on the day that I was actually going to do this and film this, I actually found a video where using coconut oil while bleaching can protect your hair more, and I thought, hey, that would for sure protect my hair, so why don't I try it? But I'll tell you why later. That probably wasn't a good idea for me. So of course I knew I had to bleach my hair, and I've given myself highlights before, but bleaching the entire hair was an entirely different story. And of course, as you're doing your research, you have to know what supplies you need prior to you doing your at-home salon application. A few things I learned while acquiring the supplies is don't buy Arctic Fox at Sally's, the price is ridiculous. You also don't need these bottles, you will need 2 or 3 mixing bowls and brushes, and of course a pair of gloves. Lesson number 2, preparation and protecting your hair. If you're watching this video, I'm sure you already know about the Olaplex system, and if you don't, you have to look it up because it's something that you must know. And Guy Tang introduced this entire product to the entire bleaching process. It is something that you need to know prior to bleaching. However, if you are not able to afford an Olaplex system, which can range you about $76 for the 3-step process, then there is a dupe. Absolute Perfect is a dupe that you can obtain at Sally's, and this system will cost you about $12. However, the system only comes in step 1 and 2. From what I've read in the reviews, step 3 is not really so hot. I didn't see step 3 in Sally's, so I didn't obtain it. But I did try this brand, and it was absolutely amazing. I highly recommend you putting some sort of booster, whether it be the Olaplex or the Absolute Perfect, into your bleach process. Like I said before, I had researched this idea on using coconut oil prior to bleaching my hair. However, using the coconut oil on my hair during bleach process and probably preparing it with the coconut oil was entirely 2 different things. If you're going to do this process and your hair is not chemically treated and you have virgin hair or all the dye is removed, then you can do this process prior to bleaching. I just separated my hair in sections and applied the coconut oil just by rubbing the product together in my hands. Do not heat up the coconut oil in the microwave, it will change the formula. So you can go ahead, just rub it together between your palms and it will melt, and you could just completely saturate your hair like I'm doing here. I separated my hair into sections just to make it easier. Not saying that this wouldn't work, but I completely saturated my hair in coconut oil. Once the bleach was applied, not to mention my hair was colored before with a dark dye, and you will see how this turned out. In my situation, I basically learned that it is best for me to do a coconut oil treatment prior to doing another bleach application. You are already getting the safety you need with the Olaplex booster or the Olaplex dupe, which is the absolute perfection booster. So moving forward, I will prep weeks before with the coconut oil treatment rather than apply the bleach on top of this.
Lesson number 3, the bleaching process. And know the history of your hair. Prior to bleaching, you must ask yourself these questions. Has my hair ever been dyed or chemically treated before? If yes, then you must ask yourself the following. When was the last time my hair was bleached? If it's too soon, maybe you should wait a little bit, or take a month or two to prepare your hair by using either an Olaplex system or the coconut oil treatment. Is your hair a dark color, like dark dye, like black box dye, or is it a fantasy color? If yes, then you must remove the dye first by using a product like DDL, which is called Direct Dye Lifter. This is a product that you can use prior to you bleaching your hair and will infinitely make the bleaching process a lot easier.
Here I made a measuring mistake where I poured in 2 scoops of the L'Oreal bleach and then poured in 4 ounces of 40 volume developer. Word to the wise, use Guy Tang's advice and make sure to measure properly. Ready to go with my gloves, and as you can see, my coconut saturated hair, and picked out a shirt that I have no problems destroying. I am getting ready to bleach my hair. I did use the poorly measured bleach as you saw in the previous clip. I did add a few more scoops because it did look too watery, but you will see later I did correct it. But I am actually putting the bleach on top of, or the poorly measured bleach on top of my coconut saturated hair, and you will see why this didn't work out so well. So this is why measurement is everything. The watery bleach equals longer to process, and creamy equals a faster to process bleach. The booster will also bring down the level of volume, so I am using a 40, so I brought it down with the Absolute Perfection booster down to a 30 or 20. I also did not foil my hair. Foil will increase the volume level, but again, I did not do that. Do thoroughly saturate your hair, and brush strokes are everything. As you can see here, I used my fingers in between. That helps a little bit, but if you're going to use the brush, practice before you use the brush, because once I got the hang of it, I was like, oh, light bulb. So brush strokes are everything. It really gets into every strand, and you will be thankful for it later. So just doing the math here, since I added the booster and brought down my developer down to a 30 or 20, imagine what the coconut oil did. Obviously thoroughly frustrated and noticing no change in talking to myself because I don't see my hair lighting up, I moved on to adding another dose of bleach on my hair, in which I measured it out correctly. So in me thinking this might actually help, I went back and made another bowl, this time measuring out the proportions correctly. For every 2 scoops of bleach will be 1 ounce of developer, and I worked my way up a little bit at a time to make sure I had the right consistency. There I'm adding the 1 ounce. I did pour in 4 scoops. I wanted to make sure that this was correct, so I added the 2nd ounce. Also, I poured in the correct amount of booster.
Okay guys, so I'm just doing a quick video on my phone because I did the first set of bleaching that you saw, and this is what turned out. The ends lighten, and I think it's because the ends are so like porous that it actually takes in the product more. For some reason, my virgin roots, because you can see the grays, did not. I'm gonna do another round on the roots with no coconut oil.
So this is where I get to the concept of time. This is 2 days of just bleaching because I had to go a second round and bleach my hair twice. As you can see, it's 2 different tones. I actually used the Splat Lightening bleach for the top of my hair that was not lifting. This is how desperate I was. So it's not a time issue if you do this at home. It is a money issue.
Lesson number 4, follow the instructions. It is so important to follow the instructions when you are coloring your hair. After I was done bleaching my hair, I shampooed it, then added conditioner for fear that my hair was too damaged. Thankfully, I went back to the Arctic Fox instructions and read that, oh, you cannot condition your hair, and went back to YouTube videos and saw that a lot of the people that did try this process with Arctic Fox was so scared that their hair was damaged, like I did, and added conditioner or some sort of leave-in conditioner, and when they applied the color did not stick. So what did I do? Had to wash my hair, I swear, for the 5th or 6th time, with just shampoo only. And of course the driest shampoo I can find in the house, which is something my husband uses. If you condition your hair prior to you applying the Arctic Fox product, the conditioner closes the cuticle and your hair strand can absorb any of the product. Therefore, that's why some of the videos that you're probably finding, a lot of the people that have tried this are getting multitonal, or it's not taking the product in their hair as much as they thought.
Okay, so completely giving up on the bleach process and totally scared about what this might turn out, I just went ahead and proceeded with the Arctic Fox dyeing process anyway. I knew it was going to be multitonal. I just didn't care at this point. I was like, let's just get this done. So I really wanted my look to look like the Splat Dream Ombre box that I showed earlier in the video, with the aquamarine on the bottom and the purple rain on top. So I just split my hair in half. Didn't care if it was even or not, just knew that I wanted the bottom layers, kind of like a peekaboo effect, with the aquamarine on the bottom and applying the purple rain on top. Of course, saturation is key and brush strokes are key. Take small sections, brush downward, make sure your hair is brushed out, no knots, no tangles, and you also have to get the underside of the hair as well. For anything I do, whether it's curling my hair, conditioning, whatever, I always put my hair in sections with these little clips that you can actually get at Sally's or your local drugstore. They make it easier for you to do your hair since you're the one doing it and no one else is doing it for you. It definitely makes, the sectioning makes it a lot easier. Of course, having a little helper helps to point out what spots you're missing. You know I had to do a happy dance. So to help lock in the color, cover with a cap, or in my case, a plastic bag.
Lesson number 5. Don't expect perfection. Remember, you're not a hairstylist. You can learn about hair care and styling and tips and tricks for doing your hair, but when you're doing your hair for the first time, especially if it's a process you've never done before, your level of expectation must be way down to a minimum. And please have a backup plan in case anything happens. I had 2 hairstylists on speed dial in case anything happened.
So obviously my hair is still multitonal in some areas and it's not absolutely perfect, but from what I went through, this is just fine for me.
And of course, a bonus tip, listen to your hairstylist. If you can't afford to go to a hair salon and you're asking advice from a hairstylist friend or a hairstylist family member, make sure you listen to them. They know what they're talking about. I for sure learned that through this entire process. So to any of you that have ever touched my hair and you're watching this video, my deepest appreciation to you. If you like this video, please make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Again, if you're new to my channel and you haven't subscribed, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and also hit that notification bell so you're notified of all my upcoming videos. You can also follow me on all my other social media platforms to see more behind the scenes of what goes into making my videos. And question of the day, did you ever have a hair mishap and what did you do to correct it? Or go ahead and tell us about your hair mishap story. Leave me your feedback in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and as always, stay sassy, sexy, and sophisticated. Yes, even after hair drama. And I'll be seeing you on the next one.